Hi, I'm Ryan Morris. I was the school captain for the class of 2023 and I am currently studying exercise physiology at UCID.
Let's get your singing voice out.
Oh, true. Get the song going.
Get the song going.
Just start it.
Just start it.
Oh, get the patriotism feeling.
Yes, absolutely.
I am William Clarke College, where wisdom, truth and knowledge make extraordinary learners with a passion to serve. May I grow in ingenuity, in justice and humility, with a strong Christ-centered purpose from which I do not swerve.
That is beautiful. That was beautiful, Ryan.
Gets
That
me
was
in the feels
awesome.
every time.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So, you joined William Clarke in Year 7.
Yes.
So, let's just take you back to that time in Year 7. So,
Ways away.
yeah, a few years ago. So, what was it like settling into the college?
It was actually a lot easier than I anticipated. Like I came in being like, oh, this is a bunch of new people. How am I going to fit in, that sort of stuff? Because I went to Jasper Road, so most of my friends were going to model farms. But I came in and straight away, all my housemates were just like, let's just join in, come play with us, that sort of stuff. And so I actually had a really easy time. It was Jack Carmu and Alex Watkins mainly, in the Andrews house, just going in. It was like, oh yeah, I just feel like I found my crew already. And so it was mainly the rugby boys and all the people who hang out with them. So I went in and it was just, yeah, I found my bunch.
Cool. So co-curricular was obviously a big thing from the start. I mean, I know it was a big thing for you.
At the end, yeah.
At the end, you were pretty much involved in everything, but in the initial
Oh, it was a
years,
massive thing for me.
Yeah.
Like, I actually didn't really do it that much in primary school, but then I got to William Clarke and I was like, you know what, let's just go for it. So I joined the choirs, joined the improv groups, joined rugby obviously, and all that sort of stuff. And I was just like, yeah, let's get into as much as possible.
Cool. So, in terms of your enjoyment of school, how much did co-curricular shape that?
It's probably one of the biggest factors, to be honest, because it wasn't just like, hey, academics, let's go study for 8 hours a day. It was, hey, get to school, do some maths, do some English, do some science, then you get to sing, or you get to go play sport, and you get to do it with your friends. I think that was the biggest thing, was that it wasn't just me being like, oh, okay, let's do this so we can be the best at it. It was, hey, I get to do this with my friends, get to build a community, that sort of stuff.
And looking at yourself now, how do you think that those experiences shaped you? Like when you look at the music side of things, for instance, what sort of I guess things did you learn from music that has shaped you into the person you are now?
I think the biggest thing was just go for it, to be honest. Like before that, it was, okay, you've got this, rugby kid, stick in your lane, more or less. Then I got to William Clarke and it was like music, oh, I love doing this. Let's try some improv, let's do some more musicals, that sort of stuff. And so it's really taught me, if you want to go do something, just go do it. No one's stopping you. The only thing that you've got to worry about is how well you can do it or how well you're actually going to try and do it, that sort of stuff. And so it was really just all in, more or less.
And you had one of the lead roles in Urinetown, the musical, when you were in Year 11. So obviously you had Urinetown, rugby, your major works in 2 subjects.
Drama and music.
Drama and music. So how did you fit in everything? Like how did you make that all work?
For those that knew me well or really knew me at all, there wasn't that much organisation. So can't really say I was the most organised person in the room. It was more just figuring out what I wanted to do and what I prioritised. Like actually figuring out, okay, this is what I want to do this year. We're going to try and remove all the extra stuff, watching YouTube, just chilling at home with my friends, scrolling through. And so it gave me time to actually get the academics in, get the work in, the leadership, then also be like, okay, I have time for my personal interest and that sort of thing. And so it's really just focusing on actually who I wanted to be and showing my time through that.
Okay, cool. And a big part of who you are, obviously, is a man of God.
The biggest thing.
Yeah. So, and you've been heavily involved in Glow. So, how did that shape your Christian walk? So, the involvement in Glow and the Christian activities here.
I think in the final few years, Glow was probably the biggest thing. Well, not the biggest thing, but one of the bigger things, just because it allowed me to be in a community with fellow-minded believers and just express my faith as openly as possible, get to sing with them, worship with them, all that sort of stuff. But I think in the younger years, it was more the teachers and actually having those Christian role models to look up to. Because it was, hey, we have CD and we have all these other things, but it was my science teacher I could talk to about faith, or I could go talk the histories of Jesus and the religion with my history teacher, that sort of stuff. And so it was really having those people who I could just be like, just a random conversation, we just talk about God, that really helped my faith.
Yeah, cool. So, did you become a Christian at William Clarke, or what was your faith walk like?
So I grew up in a Christian household, always called myself a Christian, but I think I would say I properly became a Christian in year 7. It wasn't because of William Clarke, but William Clarke obviously helped it. It was more outside of school at St. Paul's, and then Impact, which is the youth group camp they do, and just being like, okay, I want to fully commit to God, I want to know Him, I want to love Him, and I want to have that relationship rather than just being saved. And then obviously going through William Clarke as a Christian school helped me grow that, and I think in year 10, year 11, year 12, it became a lot richer of a faith, because I'm like, okay, I believe this, I've wrestled with the really hard questions, and now I can firmly say that through all of that, through all the storms, whether it be in real life experiences or the questions I've got, I can rest knowing God is there.
Yeah, that is so cool. That is so cool. So, your advice to say a person who's wanting to explore their faith, say in year 7 or year 8 in the early years, what would your advice be to them?
I think the 2 biggest things would be to just stay open-minded. Because one of those things where you can get in, it's like, oh, God loves you. But then when you get really into like the deeper parts of faith, you can start to have challenges and questions where it's like, I can't answer these straight away. And rather than giving up, I'd say just actually explore it. Because the worst thing you can do to yourself is give up on a question. Because those questions are literally life or death. If it's true, it means the world. If it's not, then so be it.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that if it is true, that's literally your eternity. So just stay open-minded. But then also to ask those questions. If you have those doubts, go to those teachers. Go to those peers, go to your minister or anything like that. Because those questions are how you grow closer to God. In the Bible, the people who wrestle with God are the ones who become the strongest in their faith. Like it's when Jacob started wrestling God, he literally wrestled God and became Israel, the father of his nation. When Moses was questioning God and all those sorts of things, that's how we grow closer to God, is by asking those questions, is by struggling with Him through it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And we're so blessed here to have teachers, like you said, not only our chaplaincy team, but teachers in all faculties who love the Lord.
Oh, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Like, so going to a different primary school, obviously, it didn't have that.
Yeah.
And so I obviously never really thought about it just because I didn't have it aware, I wasn't aware of it. But then when I got here, I was like, this is an amazing environment. And it's because it's not just in what they say, it's their actions as well. You can see them live out Christ through just their everyday life. And so I'll go into a class and the teacher will start praying and I'll be like, this has made the experience so much greater because it feels more holistic. It's not just I'm going in to learn academics so I can go get a job, so I can go get paid, so I can go retire. It's I'm learning these things for a purpose. It's so I can go help people, I can learn more things, or just learn more about God and His world in general. And
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Another passion of yours is obviously rugby. So
Footy in my hands.
talk to us about how that's played a role in your school life and your life in general.
So grew up in a footy household, despising rugby league, despising soccer, all those sorts of things. And so it was always rugby union first, and a little bit of basketball there, here and there. And then I think the biggest thing is it's helped me build community, but also wrestle with the tough times. It was like, okay, life sort of ended up being like a parallel to it. It's like when they come and to keep those going. If there's a bad time, to stop, reset, and actually figure out what's happening. And then by the end of year 11, year 12, when I started taking it properly seriously, it helped me build discipline. It helped me to really find out who I was, because I actually had to be, okay, I need to be up at this time, I need to work out, I need to eat healthy, all those sorts of things. And so it helped me be, okay, what do I need to get rid of? And who is the person I want to become? And so that discipline element was the biggest thing.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And so your rugby team, Eastwood,
Up the Woodies.
up the Woodies, and the Tars, and the
And the Wallabies.
unfortunate Wallabies.
You know what? I'm not a bandwagon. I could say
Okay.
that.
Could you see yourself as a Wallaby?
I think if I properly put in the work, both intellectually, like actually learning how the game works, and then physically as well, I think maybe I could be a Waratah. I'm not sure about that Wallaby level, but who knows?
Yeah.
But it's also the injuries, trying to figure out that, because I have to be a little bit injury prone the way I play, just running at people like a brick wall. But
Yep.
yeah, it's honestly, it's not one of those things where it's, I see the game and I'm like, oh, I can't do that. It's more if I put in the work, if I put in the hours, and I do that sort of thing, who knows what the ceiling is. So yeah.
Cool. So, about to start university. So, what's the plan for the future? What do you set? What's your like goals in life? What do you want to achieve?
I think the main thing with me is I want to help grow my church. And so I go to St. Paul's, as I said before, and just help that community thrive. But then also want to do exercise physiology, which I'm doing at UCID, and to see where that takes me. End up doing end up doing physiotherapy through that, just because I love being in the sporting world, I love helping people, that sort of thing. But if the opportunity ever arose, I'd actually, rather than rugby, play American football.
Okay.
So I've been playing that for a year, and eventually want to see if I can get to America with it, and then from there, see how far that goes.
Wow. Okay, that's different. That's very good. So you say you go to St. Paul's. How important is it to be engaged in a church, as well as be engaged here at school in the Christian activities here?
As in faith or in general?
In faith, yeah.
I think it was absolutely essential, just because by being, you can be a Christian and be separated from that sort of stuff, but it's like being married and not going home. Like, sure, you'll have all that sort of stuff, but you're not exactly going to build a relationship being away from the person for so long. And so it really allowed me to just connect with God, because I see these people, like the teachers and that sort of stuff, really following God and seeing that example, but helped me to grow deeper about God in what I knew as well. And so once I knew those things, I could sort of put it into my heart that, okay, I believe this, I've seen this, I've had these experiences, I've heard what He said to me through the preaching and through the Bible reading, that sort of stuff. And then also in Crossfire and Impact and that sort of stuff, it allowed me to find my group, like find my clan. And so those people I'll be friends with until the very end.